YouTube video script. The 1962 D Lincoln penny worth $1.9 million. Rare coin values, INTRO, camera zooms in, and the background has various coins displayed. Host smiles at the camera. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters! You won't believe what I'm about to share. A simple 1962 D Lincoln penny, yes, just 1 cent, has been valued at an eye-popping $1.9 million. That's right, a $1 million penny. Who knew that pocket change could change your life? Hang on, because we're about to dive deep into what makes this penny so special. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single detail. Body. Host picks up a magnifying glass, pretending to inspect a penny. First things first, let's talk about what a 1962 D penny actually is. You know, the Lincoln cent that probably rolled around in your dad's dusty toolbox or lay forgotten in the couch cushions at your grandma's house. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where it was struck. Now you're probably thinking, okay, it's a penny, big deal. But oh, my friend, it's a very big deal. Pause for effect, then grin. Here's why. In the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything. Imagine finding a penny so pristine, it looks like it just rolled off the production line yesterday. Those are called MS-67 or MS-68 pennies, and that's a collector's dream. MS stands for Mint State, by the way, because even coins need fancy titles. Host gestures wildly. And here's where it gets bananas. Only a handful of 1962 D pennies have ever been found in such high-grade condition. So when one showed up at auction in near-perfect quality, collectors went into a bidding frenzy, like how your dog acts when you accidentally say the word treat. It sold for, drumroll please, $1.9 million. That's like winning the coin collecting lottery, but instead of a ticket, it's a humble penny. Camera cuts to the host telling a humorous story. Speaking of humble pennies, I've got a story for you. Back in high school, I worked at a movie theater, and every shift, I'd dig through the register drawers looking for old coins. One day, I found a shiny 1962 penny. I got excited for all of 10 seconds thinking I'd hit the jackpot until I flipped it over and realized it was all scratched up from being dropped, probably by me, while counting popcorn money. If only my younger self knew to look for that pristine MS-grade beauty. Host sighs, then leans forward, serious. Alright, but let's be real for a second. Finding a 1962 D penny worth millions is like finding a unicorn in your backyard. It's rare, but not impossible. So, what should you do if you think you have a valuable penny? Here's the plan. Grab a magnifying glass, examine it for details, and if it looks too good to be true, get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Host raises a finger. Quick tip, pay special attention to any unusual features, like double dies, which is when the coin design is stamped twice. Trust me, that's where the big money hides. Plus, keep an eye out for any deep, rich color and sharp details. Your penny should basically look like it's had a day at the spa. Conclusion. Host leans back and gives a knowing smile. Well, that's the scoop on the 1962 D Lincoln penny worth $1.9 million. Can you believe it? Who knew that 1 cent could buy a mansion, or at least a lifetime supply of pizza? So, next time you're digging through your coin jar, don't dismiss those old pennies. Your financial destiny might be sitting right there, looking all innocent and coppery. Camera zooms in for the call to action. Before you go, if you love the idea of making money off your pocket change, or just want more coin collecting tips and some laughs along the way, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's turn loose change into life change together. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting, you awesome coin connoisseurs. See you next time! Host waves enthusiastically, and video ends with upbeat music. End script. Well, hold on to your seat, because today we're about to talk about a penny that might just make you wish you checked the couch cushions a little more carefully. And that penny could be worth a staggering $1.5 million. Yep, you heard that right. A single penny, with no mint mark, from 1965. Pause for dramatic effect, so grab your magnifying glasses and maybe your old piggy bank, because we're diving deep into the 1965 Lincoln 1-cent penny that could make you rich. Let's get into it. Now, before we get all excited, let's rewind a bit to 1965. In the world of coins, 1965 is a pretty special year. The US Mint made a big shift in how pennies were made. They decided to get rid of the silver in coins and started using copper-plated zinc for pennies. But, and here's where it gets juicy, not all pennies were created equal. Some, and I mean just a few, didn't get a mint mark on them. Now, why is that important? The mint mark, that little letter that tells you where the coin was made, is typically stamped right there on the coin. But in 1965, some coins were accidentally struck without that mint mark. It's like having a typo in a book, except this typo could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. So, what makes this 1965 no mint mark penny so valuable? Well, let's start with its rarity. In coin collecting, rarity equals value. There are only a handful of these coins known to exist, and the fact that it was struck without a mint mark makes it a one-of-a-kind treasure in the eyes of collectors. Imagine being a coin collector and finding one of these. It's like finding a hidden gem that no one knew existed. And speaking of finding, let me tell you a quick story about my own coin hunt. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, just casually browsing through a box of old pennies. I was hoping for maybe a 1943 copper penny, or if I was lucky, a cool 1955 double die. But then I spotted something, a 1965 penny, no mint mark. I thought to myself, that's odd. But at the time, I didn't know about the rare 1965 no mint mark penny, so I just tossed it back into the box and walked away. Pause, can you believe I did that? If I only knew then what I know now, I'd probably be driving a much cooler car than the one I have now. Sigh. Now, back to the 1965 no mint mark penny. It was only discovered later, and over the years, it's gained a reputation for being extremely rare, with only a handful of examples known to exist. The penny's value skyrocketed when experts confirmed it was, indeed, a genuine era coin. Now, if you're thinking, well, maybe I have one of these pennies sitting around somewhere, you're in good company. A lot of people get excited and start checking their change, hoping for a quick $1 million find. But don't go raiding your change jar just yet. These pennies are incredibly rare, and you're likely not going to stumble upon one just by chance. In fact, finding one in circulation is about as likely as finding a unicorn, so it's rare, but possible if you're really lucky. But just how much is one of these coins worth? Here's where it gets exciting. A 1965 no mint mark penny in perfect condition, also known as Mint State 67, could fetch upwards of $1.5 million at auction. Pause for effect. Yes, $1.5 million. That's the kind of money that makes you question everything you thought you knew about spare change. And here's a little secret. If you do happen to find one of these pennies, it's important to get it professionally graded. A coin's value can vary depending on its condition, so a well-preserved penny will be worth far more than one that's been rolling around in your pocket for decades. I'm talking about top-quality grading and certification, so don't skip that step if you think you've hit the jackpot. So, what should you do if you think you have one of these rare 1965 no mint mark pennies? First of all, don't just spend it on coffee. Second, get it checked by a reputable coin dealer or, even better, send it off to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's how you can really find out if your penny could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions. Alright, folks, let's recap. The 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare treasure that could be worth a whopping $1.5 million. But don't go raiding your piggy banks just yet. These coins are incredibly rare, and if you find one, make sure to get it properly graded before you start making plans to buy your dream car. If you enjoyed today's treasure hunt, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos on rare coins and other things that could make you a small fortune. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more coin tips, tricks, and maybe even another hidden gem like this one. So, have you ever found a coin that you thought might be worth something? Drop a comment below and let me know. And of course, share this video with your friends because you never know, maybe one of them has a penny worth millions sitting in their couch cushions right now. Wink. We're talking about the 1971 Lincoln penny, and trust me, you'll want to keep that change in your pocket after hearing about this. Alright, don't go rushing to your piggy bank just yet. Not every 1971 penny is worth a fortune. But hey, if you find the right one, you could be laughing all the way to the bank with a cool million, 1.6 million, to be exact. Okay, so here's the deal. The 1971 Lincoln penny is what we coin collectors call a key date penny. And when I say key date, I mean it's like the VIP of the penny world. Only a very small number of them were minted with a very specific era that makes them wildly valuable. But first, let's back up a bit. What's so special about the 1971 in the first place? Well, if you've ever looked at the back of a penny and squinted at the little mint mark under Lincoln's shoulder, you might notice something unusual about the 1971 version. It's got this tiny little S mint mark, which means it was made in San Francisco. Nothing too crazy, right? Host shrugs, then leans in with a serious face. But hold your horses, because here's where it gets interesting. There's a super rare variety of this penny that was made with a double die error. What does that mean? Well, imagine trying to make a perfect print of something, like, say, a super important document, and you accidentally make it twice, slightly off-center. That's exactly what happened with these pennies. The double die error means the image of Lincoln and the lettering was struck twice, making them look blurry or doubled up. Host pulls up an example of a double die error penny on a digital screen. See how the words Liberty and In God We Trust seem to have a little extra ghostly shadow around them? That's the double die effect. And that's exactly what makes this penny worth, well, a small fortune. Host looks surprised, holding up a regular penny. Now I know what you're thinking, I've got tons of pennies just sitting around. I'll check them out. But trust me, not every 1971 penny has this magical double die. It's gotta be the right one, and that's where the hunt begins. Host sits back and relaxes, pretending to sip from a mug. Let me tell you a little story about how I almost got my hands on one of these bad boys. A couple of years ago, I was at a local coin shop, just browsing, being the coin nerd I am, when the dealer casually mentioned that he had a 1971 in his collection with a double die error. I was like, hold up, you have that one? I mean, you don't just stumble upon one of those like it's a quarter in the couch cushions. Host mimics holding a phone and pretending to make a deal. I pulled out my phone, ready to outbid every collector in the room. But, of course, I was told it was already sold to some collector for a price that I could only dream of. I won't lie, there was some serious FOMO going on, but hey, the penny gods didn't bless me that day. But you know what? It made me even more determined to learn what to look for, and now, I'm passing that knowledge on to you. Host stands up, holding the penny and looking directly at the camera. So, if you've got a 1971 penny in your pocket, don't just toss it aside like it's another spare nickel. Take a moment, inspect it, and check for that double die error. Who knows? You might just be holding a future $1 million coin in your hand. Just imagine, this could be the start of your new coin collection empire. And hey, even if your penny's not worth $1.6 million, at least you'll have a cool story to tell at parties. Hey, I once thought my penny was worth millions. If you found this video helpful and want to keep learning about coins that could be worth serious money, don't forget to subscribe. I've got loads more tips, strategies, and stories to share with you. Let's unlock those coin treasures together. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever found a coin worth more than you expected, and subscribe for all the latest coin tips. 1975 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny. The one that could be worth up to $1.8 million. No, seriously. Stick with me for the next 10 minutes, and let's break down how this little penny could make you a millionaire and why it's worth so much. But first, hit that subscribe button and join the club of coin enthusiasts who are just as obsessed with rare pennies as we are. Okay, now, let's dive into the crazy world of the 1975 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny. Trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. So, here's the thing, you're probably thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? Is this guy for real? And to that I say, absolutely I am. But let's back up a bit because this story doesn't start with a gold mine in your pocket. It starts with a tiny mistake at the US Mint. You see, in 1975, the Mint stopped putting mint marks on pennies, probably for logistical reasons, or maybe they were just tired of printing them on every single coin. But here's the kicker, some of those pennies from 75 slipped through the cracks without the mint mark, and that's where the value comes from. Now you might be thinking, well, I've got a bunch of pennies in my drawer. Should I just start collecting them like a maniac? Not quite. The 1975 penny without a mint mark is super rare, and here's why. The mint marks are usually stamped on coins at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints. Without that mint mark, it raises questions. Why is this penny different from all the others? It's an anomaly. And collectors absolutely love anomalies. They're like the unicorns of the coin world. Look at this beauty. It's not just any penny, it's a no mint mark penny. You might not see the mint mark, but it's the only clue you need to know this could be worth a fortune. Now you might be wondering, how in the world is this penny worth $1.8 million? Well, here's where it gets wild. Only a few of these rare no mint mark pennies made it into circulation, and people are paying big bucks for them. I mean crazy money. One of these rare pennies sold for $1.8 million in an auction. A penny. A single penny. It's enough to make you question every penny you've ever thrown away or used for toll booths. I'll admit, I've thrown away more pennies than I care to admit. Seriously, if I had $1 for every penny I lost under the couch cushions, I'd probably be able to buy myself a mansion and a fancy car. But anyway, this one, just one, could have you set for life. Now, don't just take my word for it. There are experts out there who've studied these pennies and confirmed their rarity. We're talking about some major collectors who are hunting down these little coins like it's an extreme sport. I mean, who would have thought a penny would be the hottest thing on the auction block? Okay, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these magical pennies? Here's what you do. Grab your magnifying glass, or if you're like me, just squint really hard, and check the obverse side of the coin. You should be able to see the date clearly, but here's the key. If there's an no mint mark on the back below the date, you're holding a potential gold mine. Just imagine if I stumbled on a $1.8 million penny in here. I mean, come on, if I find one, I'll let you know. Maybe I'll even give you a free lesson in how to sell your $1 million penny. So, let's recap. The 1975 no mint mark Lincoln penny is incredibly rare, and it can sell for up to $1.8 million. It's like finding the holy grail of pennies, kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. So, check your change, check your jars, and while you're at it, maybe dig through your parents' old coin collections. Who knows? You could be holding a future $1 million coin in your hand. If you love coins as much as I do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way, and who knows? You might just find your own $1 million penny. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. A 1970 Lincoln penny, yes, this little copper coin, has a market value of a whopping $1.3 million. Million! It's like finding a golden ticket in your pocket, but better. Trust me, if I had one, I'd be auctioning it off instead of making this video. But let's break down why this penny is worth so much, how you can spot one, and why you might want to start checking your spare change. If you're new to the world of rare coins, let me tell you, some of them are worth way more than their face value. And some, like the 1970 Lincoln penny, are worth way more than what you'd expect for a small, everyday coin. First, let's take a look at this famous coin. The 1970 penny was minted to celebrate the bicentennial of the United States. Cool, right? A penny with history, no wonder it's worth so much. But here's the kicker, most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny. Not the $1.3 million though. So, what makes the 1970 penny stand out? The key difference is a little error in the minting process. It's not your typical penny, and that's exactly why it can sell for such a massive price. We're talking about a rare double die error, which means the coin was struck twice by the same die, resulting in a misalignment. This means the image of Lincoln and the words on the penny are extra bold and double printed. And if you happen to stumble upon one of these pennies in your pocket change, well, first of all, I'm jealous. Second of all, you've just made a life-changing discovery. I mean, I found a penny once, but it was only worth a penny. You ever find a coin that you thought was worth something, only to get super excited and then check the price online? Happens to me all the time. I once thought I found a rare 1969 penny. Turns out, it was just a regular old penny that someone had been chewing on. So, moral of the story, check your coins, but don't get your hopes up too high. Except for this one. Now, let's talk about how to spot one of these million-dollar pennies. The first thing you want to look for is the doubling on the front of the coin, particularly around the date and Liberty inscription. If you notice that the letters or numbers look like they have a shadow or double image, then you might be looking at a double die error penny. Check the details on both sides, too. Sometimes there's a doubling around Lincoln's face and his beard. Imagine finding this while doing your laundry, or digging through a jar of pennies you've had lying around for years. Heck, I can't even count how many pennies I have sitting in a drawer right now. Maybe one of them is a gold mine waiting to be discovered. But even if you don't strike it rich with a $1.3 million penny, it's still worth getting into the habit of looking at your loose change. Some pennies can be worth hundreds, even thousands, if they have unique characteristics or errors. So, what's the takeaway here? Check your pennies, folks. Because a small penny could lead to a big payday. Keep your eyes peeled for those subtle errors and double dies. And hey, if you do find one of these rare gems, make sure to get it authenticated by a professional before you go splurging on that new sports car. But remember, even if you don't find a $1 million penny, the thrill of coin hunting is pretty priceless. And if you like videos like this, where we dive into coins that are worth way more than their face value, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. You never know when the next big coin tip might drop. Hey, coin lovers! So, you're digging through your pocket change, right? You know, just looking for that one special coin that could make you a millionaire, like we all do. Or maybe that's just me. But what if I told you that one penny you might have lying around, the one that you totally ignored, could be worth over $1.9 million? Yeah, you heard me right, $1.9 million. Stick around because today, we're talking about the 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could turn your day from meh to ka-ching. Alright, let's break this down. If you're like me, you probably have a jar of pennies somewhere in your house, right? You know, the one you toss all your spare change into when you get home, because let's face it, pennies are basically useless. Or are they? Enter the 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. This little guy might look like just another one of those shiny copper coins you've seen 1,000 times before. But here's the kicker, this penny doesn't have a mint mark. And guess what? That missing mint mark is what makes it so valuable. You see, most pennies from 1980 have a mint mark, which means they were minted in either Philadelphia, which uses no mint mark, Denver, with a D, or San Francisco, with an S. But the 1980 pennies that were struck in Philadelphia were supposed to have a mint mark, only some of them didn't. These are the rare ones. The ones that coin collectors go crazy for. Why is that, you ask? Well, this 1980 no mint mark penny is a minting error. Yes, folks, the US Mint made a mistake. And we all know that mistakes, when they're rare enough, can make a coin worth a lot of money. A mint error means that this penny didn't get that crucial P mint mark that signifies it came from the Philadelphia Mint. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover, but you know, a lot more expensive. Now you might be wondering, how on earth did this penny end up being worth $1.9 million? Great question! In the world of rare coins, this little error has sparked some serious interest. Coins like this are highly sought after by collectors because of how rare they are. In fact, there's only a handful of these error pennies in circulation, making them insanely valuable. And in the right market, In perfect condition, they've been known to fetch a jaw-dropping 1.9 million. I know. 1.9 million? From a penny? It's like the universe is playing a prank on all of us. But seriously, that's the beauty of rare coins. One moment, it's just loose change in your pocket, and the next? It's a freaking treasure. It's kind of like finding out your weird collection of Beanie Babies is worth thousands. Who knew? Speaking of finding hidden treasure, let me tell you about a time I almost threw away a rare coin by accident. True story, years ago, I found a 1955 double-die penny, which is super valuable, by the way, and I didn't think much of it. It was all beat up, a little scratched, and it just looked, well, like every other penny. I thought, it's a penny. Then, I started learning more about coins, and boom, I realized that this little piece of metal was worth way more than my lunch that day. Moral of the story, always check your coins, people. Even the beat-up ones might be hiding something worth more than your car. Now, back to the 1980 no-mint mark penny. If you happen to have one, first of all, don't just toss it into a jar. And secondly, get it checked out by a professional coin dealer or numismatist. The value of these bad boys can vary based on their condition, but a penny in great condition, especially one that's been authenticated, can be worth anywhere from a couple thousand to nearly $2 million. Just imagine finding one of those in your pocket. That would be like winning the coin lottery. As you can see, the condition of your coin is crucial. If you have a 1980 no-mint mark penny that looks like it's been through a few battles, it might not fetch the $1 million price tag, but in the right condition, graded by a professional, you're sitting on something potentially life-changing. So, if you happen to find a 1980 no-mint mark penny, don't just let it roll around in your car or toss it back into the change jar. You might have something that could change your life forever. And hey, if you're out there hunting for rare coins, remember that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Who knows, your next find might just be worth millions. Before you go running off to check your pockets for rare pennies, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money. We've got a whole treasure chest of info for you. And trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming next. 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, and it's not just some random coin. I'm talking about a coin that can make you richer than your wildest dreams. Well, maybe not richer, but you get the idea. Stick around to find out why this penny is worth up to $1 million. Yeah, you read that correctly. But before we get started, let me grab that coffee, and maybe a magnifying glass. You never know what's hiding in your spare change. So, let's talk about this 1978 penny. At first glance, you might think it's just another ordinary penny, just another Lincoln, right? You probably have a bunch of them laying around in your coin jar, which, by the way, is probably filled with a lot of junk change and maybe a few gold-plated pennies from that weird cousin who tried to be creative one Christmas. But this one, folks, is special. We're talking about a no-mint mark 1978 Lincoln penny, and if you find one in your change, you're looking at a jackpot that could run you up to $1 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is this some kind of joke? Nope, I'm serious. Let me break it down for you. So, most pennies, like any regular penny, would either have a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But here's where the plot thickens. Some of these 1978 pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint, and for whatever reason, the Mint forgot to stamp that little P, which means it's a no-mint mark penny. It's kind of like finding a hidden treasure in the attic, except it's not a dusty box of old toys, it's money. Why is this a big deal? Well, the Philadelphia Mint's no-mint mark coins were never intended to be out there in circulation, making them incredibly rare. So rare, in fact, that some of these bad boys have been sold for nearly $1 million. That's right, you could be holding a coin worth more than some people's entire life savings, all because the Mint forgot to do a little stamp. I mean, talk about a slip-up. Honestly, that's like forgetting to add the cheese to a pizza. Big mistake. But what makes this even more interesting is that this isn't just a single mistake. There are reports that a handful of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies are out there in circulation, and their value has been skyrocketing in recent years. People have discovered that if you've got one of these pennies in decent condition, it could be worth anything from thousands to the big bucks we're talking about. Pretty wild, huh? Now, I've got to be honest here. I didn't always know about these hidden gems. In fact, a while back, I found a penny in my couch cushions. And you know what I did with it? I tossed it into my just a penny pile with all the other random coins I hoarded over the years. Little did I know, that could have been the very penny we're talking about today. Talk about a missed opportunity, but you know what? It's okay, because that's what this video is all about, making sure you don't make the same mistake I did. Now that I've clued you in, you're on a mission to check your pennies. Seriously, look through them all. And don't be shy, grab a magnifying glass or even a smartphone to help you spot that elusive mint mark, or the lack of one, and get ready to make a small fortune. No pressure, right? Alright, before we wrap things up, I want you to do one thing. Open up your drawer, your coin jar, and maybe even check under your couch cushions. I know, it's a lot of work to find that hidden gem. And hey, if you don't have one, don't worry, there are plenty of other coins worth money, and we're going to be covering them all right here. So, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I'm here to give you the inside scoop on coins that could make you a minted millionaire. Don't miss out. You could be holding a gold mine, and I'm here to help you find it.so. What are you waiting for? Go check your pennies, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit subscribe and like. We've got plenty of cool coin tips coming your way. Let's find that $1 million penny together. See you next time, coin hunters.